Hi, Orange Girl here with another day in my December daily. I'm actually doing 3 days today. This is a picture of my daughter. We were making some cookies. And then this tag is going to be day 20, and I have 4 photos that are going to go on that tag, and I'll show you how I make that happen. And then that's going to go in between day 20 and 20 or 19 and 21. And I have some journaling for 21, but at this point I'm like I could either use the journaling or I could just use it was a Snapchat and it says and break has begun. And so I could just use that and it kind of tells the story by itself without any more journaling. So either way, we'll see how it goes. So I'm cutting down my journaling for the center tag. I'm going to start by working on that. So I have cut already in advance 2 pieces of that same paper right there. And it is bigger than any of the tags that I have. So I went ahead and just cut it in a rectangle, and then I'm using the die as like a template just to get that top part to be the way it's supposed to be and to cut a hole in the middle. And I haven't glued the 2 pieces together yet because I know I want to do some stitching and I want it to look good on both sides. So I want the stitching to look like, I don't know, when I do stitching, I don't know if everybody else it looks the same, but you see how that looks? Well, if you look at the other side, it doesn't look as good. So I wanted it to look good from both sides. And plus I didn't know if I was going to hide some of this ribbon in between the 2 pieces of the tag or not. So I just went ahead and left them apart for now. So I got this ribbon out of my stash. It's just white with red on it, which matches so much of the photographs. And I'm just gluing the pictures right straight to that, just using a tape runner. And I find a way to just secure it a little bit better as we go. Right now I'm trying to get the adhesive off a spot that I didn't want it to be. So anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and just glue these together, and my idea was to do that so that I would just be able to tie those together and then untie it and pull it apart, and you would be able to see all 3 photos. And that worked. But I did run into a couple of problems, and I'll kind of show you. I like how it ended up, so I'm okay with how it ends up. But that was my idea, and I didn't think it through all of the way. So what I did, which I shouldn't have done this first, but I went ahead and I glued that down. I was getting a little anxious, not anxious, but a little excited maybe. And I decided that I wanted to go take my sewing machine and sew around each of the photos so that that ribbon would actually be sewn to the photo as well. And so I just stitched on the white part all the way around the photo on all 3 photos. So I did that off camera. So I've already done that. And then I went ahead and I just tied them together, and I think I've glued it down. Oh yes, because when I did the last one, the one that is on the bottom, I went ahead and just zipped that one while it was attached to the tag. So that one is actually sewn on. The other ones are just sewn to the ribbon. I hope that makes sense, and maybe you'll be able to see it in the close-up at the end. But so here I made a mistake. Her shirt says that it says I'm a tall elf on it, or it says like I'm not short, I'm just a tall elf. And so I thought that would be a great little title here, but I totally forgot about the numbers. And so once I get all of this done, I realized that I forgot to put the number 20 on there. So I make it work, and you'll see, I think I actually do it off camera, but I just move them around a little bit. It's not that big of a change. It worked out just fine. So this is where I think I discover that I have a problem. See that? I'm like, oh, well, that doesn't work. I didn't really think about that. So that was a mistake that I made, because every time you turn it, it's going to do that. That was one mistake I made. I made another mistake too. Remember, if you've been watching my series, you'll know that you should do this part right here before you add your photos and stuff. because what I end up doing here is I go punch my holes straight through my photos. Now, I thought I was looking at it closely, and I thought I didn't do that. But it wouldn't have been that difficult for me not to do it, but I ended up doing it. So now I've got holes through every one of those photos. And it's okay. And I left it. It's fine. It's not that big of a deal, especially when it's in the actual album. It's not a big deal. You don't even hardly notice it when it's in the album. But right here I'm pondering. I'm just like, what am I going to do? So this is what I end up doing. So I just took that piece off, and now I'm going to go ahead and glue it in between the two tags that I will end up gluing the tags together, right? So I'm going to glue that in between so that when I tie them together, I'm actually tying them all together like this. So when you turn the tag, it's no longer going to be a problem. It's not going to come apart. Yet you can untie it and you can still see each of the, so. Now, in doing so, I somehow got something on my photograph and I couldn't get the adhesive off. And I wanted something to pull, like a pull, to indicate that you should open this up. And so I just found in my stash something, it does two things. It covers up the spot that I got some adhesive on that I couldn't get off, and it also acts as a pull. So then I went back and I found this word that's just a sticker that says Mary, and that works out perfectly. So now I like the way it looks. So on this side, all I did on the other side was glue the journaling and the picture of the other picture. So I'm going to tell you what that journaling says because it's kind of long journaling, and it's on the back of that number 20. It says, each year, Bee's piano teacher has a students-only Christmas party. The kids work on a Christmas piece and perform. They also eat lots of treats, which might be Bee's favorite part. This year, Bee's piece was Silent Night. 2 hands, pedal, chords, and hands moving all over the keys. Beautiful. It also happened to be a festive dress-up day at school. She got a new elf shirt from her friend and new stockings that matched from Snowflake. Perfection. So that's the journaling that's on the back of the tag, and it kind of goes with both sides. There's a picture on the back of the tag that has all of her piano students, and then on the front of the tag are the elf pictures. So that day 20 is done. So now I'm looking at 19 and 21. 21 is going to be pretty simple. So right now I'm trying to decide. I have some journaling and I have that picture, and then I have the number 19. So I've just gone through all the ephemera that I have laying out on my desk. I have a bunch that is from this collection, the Crepe Paper Fa La La collection, which was last year's Christmas collection, and I pulled that out a few December daily days back, and have been using that with this year's Crepe Paper collection, which came in the holiday hipster kits from Click Kits this year. So I started my whole December daily with that kit, and I've just added to it as we've gone along. So I went through a bunch of the ephemera, and I've gone through some of the chipboard sheet, and I'm still kind of going through, but I like that piece of chipboard, and I end up sticking with this card that is under the photo right now. I'm going to be covering up what's on the card, or most of what's on the card, but I end up sticking with that. So let's see what happens next. So I was trying to figure out how to fit those numbers on, maybe add some embellishments, and get the journaling in. And it just wasn't working, mostly because those numbers are so big, but also because it needed to be a little simpler, I think. So I ended up going with something more like this. I kind of go back and forth about the idea of maybe putting a number on top of a word. And I had the Fa La La, and then I had the Noel, and I end up not using either, but I kind of thought I could do that maybe, but I ended up not liking it. So I am kind of stuck a little bit. So I'm going to go over to page 21, and I'm just going to add a few things to that. There you see on the back of that tag the picture of her in with her piano teacher and the other piano students, and then all of that journaling. So that's on the back of that tag for day 20. I couldn't remember if we went back to that or not. So now, right now, I'm just trying to decide if I need to cover up. Like in this photo, I'm in the car. We're on our way home. We carpool. So Charlie was driving. And I took that picture on Snapchat and sent it out. Well, I still have my badge on from work, and I have some other things that are just kind of distracting. So I was trying to decide if I needed to cover that up or leave it. And so I kind of went through several different things, and I end up not covering it up at all. So I don't use this tag, although the tag doesn't look too bad. I end up just gluing the numbers straight to the photo, and I hardly add any embellishments. I didn't really feel like I needed it. There was so much going on this complete spread already, and then the photo kind of says says what it is. So I just go ahead and glue those down. Then I'm going to add a few pieces of chipboard. So this chipboard says ho ho ho, and I end up putting that actually over on the other side instead. And then I continue to kind of go back and forth. So the other one says joy, I think, but I don't end up putting it there. I end up changing that out. So now I'm trying to decide if I want some chipboard to go over here. That seeing the chipboard with the words on it gave me the idea that, oh, maybe I need to just add a chipboard, another piece of chipboard over on that other page, but I don't end up doing that. But I do end up deciding I really do like the ho ho ho, so I'm just going to glue that down here in a second, I think. And then I forgot that when I was first looking through the chipboard, I saw the one that said jingle, and I decided that that one would look cute there with the red. And so I'd already set it aside thinking I would put it there, and then kind of forgot about it. So I went ahead and glued down the ho-ho. So now we're on the next day, and I found some more pink and red paper, and then this right here is just a piece of vellum, and I'm just going to cut it so it has a little bit of an opening, and I'm going to glue that to the pink paper and make a little place for that to go inside. I don't end up using that paper. I went ahead and used the same paper and cut a tag out, and I'm just going to glue the journaling right on it like this and call it done as far as the hidden journaling part goes. I need to just put it all together. So I kind of wanted to stitch it down, wanted to stitch around, but obviously I can't stitch the pocket shut, but I wanted some stitching on it. So before I glue it down, I'm stitching around that little opening, and then I will glue it down to the pink paper, I think, yeah. And then I'm just going to use my machine to zip around the outside of that carefully to remember not to zip it closed, because that is totally something I would do. But I don't. So then the journaling that's going to go in there says, Snowflake, which if you remember is our elf. So Snowflake left us a mission to make some cookies. That worked out perfectly because Bee is required to take some goodies to her piano Christmas party tomorrow. So that's for day 19. And then it's just a picture of her mixing up the cookies. And then day 20 is all about her dressing like an elf and being at the Christmas party, her piano Christmas party. And then day 21 was the last day we had school before Christmas break. So that's kind of these 3 days. And honestly, I wanted day 22 to be a 2-page spread. And so this was me trying to problem solve. One of the things that I've really liked about doing the December dailies, I felt like there have been lots of different little problems that I've had to like figure out, and I love doing that kind of stuff. It's like a puzzle or something. And so I love doing mini books. I've always loved doing mini books, and so this just fits right into all of that. So anyway, so now I've just glued that down to that card, which I think it says Be Merry, and I just covered up the bee, and there was a wreath on it or a Christmas tree or something. And I just covered that up because, we're almost to the end here, and I haven't found a use for that tag yet, so I think it's probably okay if I just cover it up and use the part that says Merry. And then I put a piece of chipboard there that says Joy here in a second. And so, that's kind of been my theme throughout the whole December daily. So it was nice to find. I was glad when I found that chipboard that said that, and that's from last year's crepe paper collection. I glue that down, and then let's see. I think I add some white thread underneath that piece of red chipboard if I haven't done that yet. Yeah, I'm just using white thread that's already in my machine, and I'm just pulling it out and adding that underneath the chipboard just for a little extra texture, just gives it a little extra something. And then I think I'm done with that page. I use the same thread to go through the tag as a pull to pull that out and to pull the two pages together. And then when you flip it over, you see this, and it is done. Yeah, so here come the close-ups. Thanks a lot for stopping by, and I will have a new video up tomorrow, the 3rd, and that will be my day 23. And I'm using the January Clip Kit, some non-Christmas paper for that one. So I can't wait to show you that one tomorrow. So thanks a lot for stopping by, and I will see you soon.